This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, hi guys.
Hey Sajid,
Who all are there?
this is Vishal.
Hey, hi Vishal.
How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. Thanks. What about you?
I'm doing okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it was too busy. I couldn't get a chance to much log into this CPQ and work upon in last week.
Man, you have to take out some time, otherwise, you'll actually lose that flow.
Yeah. I have to.
Right,
Most probably today onwards, I'll have some good time available, 2, 3 hours every day. So
right. Do we have Preet and Durvesh as well?
I haven't seen them. Means Preet joined, and after that, he was on another call. So I think maybe he dropped or he's on mute.
Okay. And did you hear Durvesh?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Sajil, one question. I was while adding products to quotes, right?
Uh,
So when I select add product and select specific product, main product, and click select, so what's happening there? It shows me like two of the product in category miscellaneous and one in that parts, but it's not showing me like in the sound system or feature maintenance. It says no visible option in feature this feature maintenance, whatever the name I give into that feature maintenance and sound system. No visible option there. Although when I go to products, I can see those options are there.
okay. Okay. Well, we can maybe check that.
Yeah,
Yeah. What else? What else did you try out?
nothing much, honestly.
Okay. But did you
Yeah.
get a chance? I think you missed the last session, right?
Yeah, I missed the last session. I think it was too early for me, 6:30
Right.
CST. Yeah,
Uh,
and before that, evening was really busy.
sorry.
So we were late before evening. Otherwise, if I had a good sleep, I could have woke up. So
Okay. Okay.
Durvesh is here now.
Durvesh joined.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, hi Durvesh.
Hi. Yeah.
Hello, sorry, I was on a phone call. I had a phone call come through, so that's why I was quiet. But I'm back. I'm here.
Hey, hi Preet. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good too. Thanks.
You're a busy man,
Yes.
yeah?
Actually, my clients, they're going on leave since December 15th. So there are a couple of project closures that's happening. So a lot of meetings related to go live and stuff.
Sure.
That's why, I reach home a little late, and then yeah, that's it. So that's why the sessions are getting pushed a little. I know even you guys are finding it little, to adjust things, but thanks for making it every time.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
Okay. So, did you guys get a chance to go through our previous session?
Yes, and uh, I I spent a lot of time, and I was speaking to the Rish as well. We again, tried to figure out a few things, but but I mean, I was halfway there sometimes, and other times I just didn't know what I was doing really. So I tried a bunch of things, but not all of them seem to have worked. But I'm sure that you might be able to help us out, and I'm sure that this little tweaks, like you said the last time,
Uh,
that needs to be done on the what we're missing. But I just couldn't figure out what it was that was going wrong and why I couldn't get to the results, if you like.
okay.
Same here,
So,
Sajil. I think we are going on the track, but sometimes what happens that it gets confused, or the confusion happens so much that we don't know we are going on a right path or not.
okay. But then, yeah, like if you achieve the requirement, that means you're on the right path.
Yeah, but as you said that back at the study class, that
Uh,
why do you add the configuration attribute if you can do from your accounts? It will
correct,
be more automation, right?
correct.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, we
Hello?
can hear you.
Yeah. So, but that's why sometimes it is getting difficult to.
I mean, I understand the concept, so I'm guessing, this
Mhm.
is what needs to be done. That, through the account, the billing address is because the billing address has the CA in there, which is California, just to be clear. That has to be pulled out into the products when we are, preparing a quote. And for that, there was a field which is billing address. The API was then I tried to add it onto your filter information, and then it did disappear, to be honest. But then it disappeared for all the accounts, not just California. So that's probably where I went wrong. Anyway, guys, what I'm gonna do, I'm on the phone, right? So I'm just gonna disconnect and connect through my laptop, if that's right, please.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, Vishal
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Sajil.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, guys.
Yeah.
You're good now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, other than that, what else do you find? Like when you guys were trying it, did you find something? Did you come across something interesting?
Mm.
I mean, obviously, learned about configuration attributes because that's not what you wanted us to probably. That was not the correct way, but we found a way of doing it. I guess so that was something new, which
Okay,
we haven't discussed. Apart from that, I'm sure there was a couple of other things, but I can't remember now.
okay,
So something about the boxes that when you tick certain boxes, what happens and why they're important and stuff. So I can't put my finger on it right now, but yeah, there was a couple of things that were new.
okay. And what about you, Preet?
Sorry, this was Preet, yeah, by the way.
Oh, sorry, Durga. Sorry. Yeah.
No. 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 Same, Sajil. Just being confused. Whatever I'm doing now, it's,
Uh-huh.
I'm just confused that I'm going in the right path or not.
Okay.
Sajil,
Because
Sajil,
Yeah.
how would you implement that if you have to implement so that we know that the way,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
if you
Exactly.
explain
That's
that,
going to come
that
to
would
that.
be great so that we know that, okay, if this kind of requirements come, hey man, these are the four options. This is the best option. Go this route. or these are
Exactly.
the options. If you can explain those things, it will be much more clear in our head, and we can make notes of those things. Because when we're gonna implement, it's gonna
Right.
be again confusion. Rather than going into confusion, at least we know, as per our understanding and learning from you, these are the right paths.
And Sajil, again, you're working, so you know the difficulties and the uh, beginner thing and the advanced thing. So, if possible,
Correct.
give us the advanced example only, because I know beginner is important, but if we go at the advanced level now, we can definitely do the intermediate and beginner. So,
Right, right, right.
yeah.
No, no, definitely. So basically, even the examples that I've given, right, they're not very basic ones. They are, I would say, not advanced, but little at a second stage advanced. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
You guys hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Hajir. Yeah.
Right. So what I was saying is, whatever examples that I've given, right, they're not like very uh, basic ones. They are of good amount of complexity in it. If you, when I've made sure that you guys don't get very simple ones. But yeah, like what I can do is we can also discuss about some of the use cases as well.
Okay.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, that would be good idea, Sajil. You give us like few use cases and solutions so we know that that's the best approach for those use cases.
Right, right. But then the main thing is I don't want you guys to be bounded by those scenarios only. You should have a wider thing on all these.
Sure, at least we would
So
have
this
base
is,
with
yeah.
us.
Right. So these examples would just be uh, what do you say? Just to help you out. But then the end, you guys have to, uh, you know, then when something new comes in, you guys should be able to take it up.
Sure.
Okay. What else? What else do you want? Anything? So one thing is I'll give you more scenarios and we can go through what are the different complex scenarios that usually comes. Very common complex ones I can discuss. Anything else? What else do you want me to explain again or something like that?
And the path, Sajil. The path.
Path as in
In which means there are four paths. So which path should be the best for us as to go for that scenario?
you mean validation, selection, and all those things?
No, no, not validation selection. Since as I'm saying that uh, for that example, we have taken that example that uh, for CA it should be enabled, it should not be enabled, and for non-CA it should be enabled, right? We have
Correct,
gone through one approach, but your
correct,
approach was more automated, or your approach was different. So we want
correct.
that we should go in this way only. Okay, that is the best part, best approach for the CPQ.
Uh, okay, okay. So different approaches. Like for example, for what do you say? Like for when we started with search filter, I made it clear that okay, you guys have to uh, use search filter for product selection page, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Hello.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, Preet, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I can hear you. I couldn't hear anything, so I had to come out of the meeting and come back in again.
Uh-huh.
So Preet, he was actually asking that in which approach you want to tell us, to tell him?
Right. For me, I think a couple of things which were bugging me was about the alert. First of all, I think for me, I think I know where I'm going wrong, but I can't be too sure. So for me, when you are you're putting that alert filter, right? Alert rule rather. There's an option where it says greater than one, less than one, so that filter information, right? I think
Right.
I'm going wrong there, but I'm not sure. So it's just being stuck on a video game where you can't get to the next level, So and it just bugs you, and you don't know which way to go and stuff, So
Okay.
that's one, and then the other one, of course, was how to filter the account information into how to pull the account information or the billing state or the address into the actual products when you're preparing a quote for that particular account where let's assume California is not an option.
Okay, the one which we decided for search filter.
Search
No,
filter.
for the price rule. Sorry, product rule.
Product rule, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was for product rule.
What was that example? Sorry, I just forgot that.
So if let's say you're from California, then there's a let's say complimentary car wash is not available to you, but outside of California, you can have that for free, for example, or you can have that, or you can select it, for example. But within California, you can't select it because it's not an option that you can take out.
Correct.
The
Okay, I
example's
got
not
it.
simple. Yeah.
Now I remember. Yes. So
That's the one.
how
One.
far did you guys reach in that?
So, I mean, when you say how far, it depends on whether we're doing the right thing or not, right? It might be we've actually gone further away, or might be, getting closer. But what my understanding of the whole thing was that on the billing address, you'll go into the account object and you'll go into the billing address field, and I then copied the API of the billing address, and then we went into, I think it was either product option or filter information, and then we pasted that, and then through that it was like if the product billing address contains CA, for example, then the rule should fire, or the product is not available to select, for example. It was a selection rule, I think we were doing on the product side. Look, I might be talking gibberish here, but that's as far as I've gone with it.
So I think we had 4 requirements that day, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So out of that, I think you guys did 2, and then 2 you guys are stuck with.
No, we
So
have
gone the wish.
No, go, Preeti. You go. Yeah.
So we had 4 altogether, right? So the first one was obviously, through product options. So when you select product A, then the product B is already selected, for example. The second one was similar, where, if you were to select service plan, you get a complimentary car wash, I think it was.
Right.
And the third one was again to do with product option, which was again very straightforward. It was the fourth one, and there was an additional requirement that you asked us for, which we are stuck on. So we're stuck on 2, but we've completed 3.
Okay.
So the ones that we are stuck on is one with the California state that I just spoke about, and the other one was the alert rule, which should fire when the option is not selected, bringing up a message saying there's a discount. And the other option would be when you select it, it should not show the message. My problem is that even when I select it, the message is showing.
Okay. Right.
Yeah,
I remember. So then I think I gave you a hint for that.
You did, but even then I couldn't figure it out, So you did give us a hint, So you said it was to do with the product actions and conditions, custom, any, or all, which I have tried, but I mean, I probably don't know enough, to figure it out, I think, So.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Those examples, I'll definitely, I'll show it to you how we can do that. That's not a concern. Definitely do that.
Now, I'm
But
guessing that will
it's like,
help us understand some of the other things as well, within. So, okay, you can do it this way. So maybe another scenario, you can maybe do something else this way as well.
right. Okay. What else? So when we bifurcate the topics that we have covered, right, the different topics that we have covered, what do you think was the most difficult one?
Product rule.
Product rule?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I mean, it's just making sure that you know what you're doing, like, so like you said the other day as well, there's probably little tweaks that we need to do with what we're doing. So we probably understand the basic concept of it, but the
Ah,
technicality of what to use at what point is what we are probably missing, or what we need to work on. Yeah.
okay. And the easiest one?
Easiest one, I think, product options
Bundle.
was, yeah. Bundles,
I think
product
bundle
options. Yeah.
options,
The
option
bundling
constraint.
index.
Yeah, bundling option constraint. That was
Features.
very
Yeah.
easy.
Uh, okay.
I mean, now that we understand configuration attributes as well, so that it
Yeah,
seems straightforward.
Okay. So product. Yeah. So I think these product rules, right?
yeah,
So once we how do I say? Once we see those examples, what's the solution for those examples, then I think it would be little easy for you guys.
yeah. Just we want to know the right approach, Sajid, because your approach is, I think, the means you want that it should be more automated and more simple. So we want to know that approach actually. Just that
Correct.
approach.
Uh-huh.
So the most efficient way of doing things, maybe.
Okay. Okay. I'm just thinking how I can make it more easy for you guys. Like because product rule is like it's a very what do you say? So for example, if you see, how do I say? For example, a coding language, right? In coding language, what you do is you just try and understand what is the syntax and what are the different tools that you have, and then you have to, and then the requirement could be anything, and then it's up to you how you use the different elements or different things available to bring up the whole requirement, right? So that's exactly how a product rule or all these rules in the system is as good as doing a code wherein you would all know the basic tools available, but then you have to uh, combine it in different ways to achieve it. So you might feel that this is confusing or something, but then as far as you are clear of what are the different options available, and that first go thing, right, wherein you get a requirement and you do it first attempt, that is something that comes with time for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I love it when like things are going well. It's when you get stuck and just spending hours and just to figure out. And because I mean, me personally, because I haven't even got the basic understanding of what could be done, is where you try things which might be incorrect completely, and I don't want to mess you up too much as well. You see, so maybe the things I've done right, they become wrong because I've done so many wrong things. To remember what was right, it could be a mission later on. So
Uh,
but yeah, I mean, I've around like work my way around the platform, if you like, and that you know where things are and what you can do with it. Is just putting it all together, uh, like we said, to make it work for our benefit.
okay. Yeah, I'll think of something. I mean, I just want to. I don't want you guys to be like, for each and every scenario, you should have a solution right in front of that. That's not something uh, I want to keep. But then what I'm planning to do is to have it in a way that I'll give you a scenario so that you get trained to think in that way. That is something that I'm targeting.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. Otherwise, we could have gone on Trailhead. They tell you what to do anyway. That you don't really learn anything from there. So
Right, right. Exactly. Okay, so I'm just give me 5 minutes. I'm creating an example for the next topic. So we'll cover this one first, and then uh, let's see, because this is also an important topic. So apart from those two requirements, your projects are complete, right?
yeah, I believe so. We've done everything else. So
Okay.
Not mine, Sajal, as I explained you before. Everybody joined.
Yeah, hey man, I think you have to catch up.
Yeah, yeah. Means catch up
And
was
please
there,
help
but
them.
there were
Actually,
some difficulties, so maybe I will ping you if you can share your some contacts so that I don't want to waste everybody's time. So anybody I will take help and we'll see that how to resolve what I missed there. As per my understanding, I was doing everything right, and then I stuck because it was not showing something. Then I verified and corrected that, and after that, another thing. So I'm still right now, while listening to you guys, I was creating another sample product and product options to see that why few options were shown, but few others options were not. So, but I will catch
what
up
is
on
the
those.
good part that I see over here is like, yeah, so I've been covering all the topics and major doubts and everything. But then Dhruvesh and Preet are connecting regularly to discuss and get their project up to date. So I think you can take their help as well for the things that we have covered, and for the common topics, that's definitely something that I will be covering
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
It's not a
right,
problem.
right, right. So, Durvesh, if you can share your number, it will be really great. I will
Yeah,
WhatsApp
yeah.
you.
You can connect with me with on LinkedIn also.
you've
Okay,
got my number, yeah, Vishal. So what I'll do is I'll forward your number on to Durvesh. Yeah, I've got the
sure,
link.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, yeah. I think I pinged you on WhatsApp as well.
You have, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, so connecting and I'll ask you some question.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. No problem. Just
Okay.
at the end of the lecture, just remind me to tell my full name and LinkedIn name. Okay.
Sure.
So you guys are already in CPQ progress, just to get an idea.
What?
So are you guys already into CPQ projects right now?
I'm right now in SAP Hybris, Sajid. And
Yes,
we're
I
gonna,
am.
and then I'm gonna shift in now in SAP CPQ, sorry, Salesforce CPQ. And right now I'm
Wow.
also supporting some POC work and admin work for Salesforce for some project uh, for Scania project and all others. So yeah,
Okay. Okay, that's good. What about Preet? I think Preet is
Yeah.
targeting to get certified soon, right?
Yes.
That's a good thing. But Preet, I would
yeah.
suggest you to get into a project first, get some good hands-on, and then attempt the certification.
Well, see, this is it. This is what my issue is over here. I was actually talking to a recruiter just now, and he said that in order for you to get into a position, you would need the experience. So especially with CPQ, I might be able to get into admin, but they're not going to have that CPQ.
Okay.
Projects, if you like. So that's where I'm struggling. And without this certification, I'm not going to be able to apply for either a junior CPQ, whatever the profile is.
Right. But then what you can do actually is when you submit your resume, right?
Yeah.
You can actually mention that you have a hands-on experience on CPQ projects, and what you can do is you can tell. Sorry.
Sorry, it wasn't me.
Yeah, and then what you can tell them is that you have hands-on experience.
Yeah.
And when they ask about the project, you can explain these things, whatever we are doing, right? These are all real world
Examples. Yeah. Sure.
you don't have to, whenever you're going somewhere, you don't have to think like, this is your first time or something like that.
Right. Okay. Of course.
I mean, the first thing that the recruiter would ask you is whether you have project experience.
Right.
So you can tell them you have project experience.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my admin exam in December, Sashil. Just admin, not for CPQ.
Okay, the normal admin.
Yeah, normal admin.
Okay,
Just to show
that's
the clients that.
right.
Yeah.
That's what it's
So,
happening with me. So yesterday I attended one telephonic interview, and although it was a contract job for Salesforce client itself, they are into
uh-huh.
merger acquisition project, and implementation partner was Infosys, and I was going through some third party contracting. So first interview was okay. They asked me about that general BA, and then on top of that, what I'm doing in CPQ and Salesforce admin, like standard objects, custom object, and relationship, those things. And on top of that, CPQ, like product rules and all those things. I explain them whatever I learned so far. So
Uh-huh.
finger crossed if I get a client interview in this
So were
week
they
or not.
convinced?
Means I'm not sure, like if I get a client interview, direct client interview this week, it means they were convinced. Otherwise, I have to do more work on this.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
but then I mean, I'm really focusing on this one is that whenever you guys get calls, right? I mean, this is what I've seen. This is what I've explained in previous batches, and I've seen them getting through this.
right.
So what I tell them is you tell them whatever we have done, right? You tell that confidently because these are all uh, real world scenarios. What we have done. So you have to portray it like, for example, the reason I was giving you uh, real world requirements is like I told you an automobile industry, right? So that's when uh, in the interviews they won't ask you directly the client name. They'll just ask you what project was it. So you mentioned that okay, it was an automobile project, and they'll ask what are the things that you implemented. So when you start saying that I did the product setup, I did the bundling, I created a dynamic bundle as per the requirement, and then there was a requirement to uh, you know restrict some things or show some validations. So I created a product rule for that. There were some things to restrict the visibility on the product selection page. So I created a search filter. So all these things, if you explain it in a good way, right? They'll get explained because right now in the market there are not many people who are uh, you know very advanced in all these things. To be frank, so it all depends on how you portray these things to them.
So there are two challenges I faced, which I'm sharing with you. If you can get us answer, everybody on that. One was that how you added value to increase the revenue for a customer with within CPQ, and what different reportings you worked upon. So maybe that's a pending topic for us. So
Different what?
reports and dashboards.
No, so reports and dashboard is part of Salesforce admin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will not be utilizing any of the component which we are doing in CPQ as part of the reporting?
No, no, no,
No?
nothing. No.
Okay. Okay. So
I'm
then,
assuming that if you even if you were to go for a CPQ position, you would need admin as a prerequisite, right? Would that not be the case?
So you don't need a certification to be precise, but then you would definitely need some hands-on.
Right.
okay.
Yeah. So for example, this thing, right? Reports and dashboard is a very basic topic which you can learn it by yourself also, to
hmm
be frank, right?
Right. I'm doing
So
that side by side. So yeah, on Sales Cloud. So I will work on that so that next time I have answers for those things.
right, right.
So there's nothing like we create reports out of the CPQ product bundling and anything. Do you think anything would be there which we can show uh, that hey, these are the reports which are based on that product bundling and these are the things we are offering, or that would be only available on the quotes?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I'm good now. Let me share my screen. Which so today I was planning to uh, just start off with the things related to pricing, because that is also a very important topic, because at the end of the day it's all about what the price and what the cost would look, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just sharing my screen. You guys see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I'm going to cover two things today. One is summary variable and one is price rules. So I have, I am going to cover it in a way that you guys understand what exactly a summary variable does, and also what exact and how exactly a price rule is used to achieve these things. So basically, my requirement says that I want a sum of things on the code. For example, if I select like 5 products, okay, and then out of that, 2 are some optional products that is not compulsory, right? Or if it is from a different distributor or something, so then the sales rep has to keep a track of that. That out of the, you guys are following me, right? You don't understand, you can stop me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, my requirement says that my company is selling some 10 products. Out of that, 10 of out of that 10, 3 of them has been manufactured by some other company, but I am selling them. But then the sales rep has to keep track of that, and he has to make sure that when the sale happens, how many out of the products that get sold, how many are the uh, products that are not his company's. It's from a different company, from an external company. For this, each time he has to count it manually, or after the code is created, he has to do some Salesforce customization. But then this kind of requirement is very important, and it is very uh, I mean it is needed multiple times. Okay, so in that case we have something called as a summary variable. Okay, so basically what summary variable does is it gives you uh, it helps you to calculate multiple things based on some conditions, like multiple functions. So if I select this, I have an option to do a math on a particular field based on all these functions. I can do a count, that is, it would help. So if I select five products of a particular type, then it would give me the count as five. The sum is whatever
Sajal, I
field I
can't hear you.
sorry. Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, ignore that. Yeah, Sajid, just carry on, please.
Okay, sure. So basically, this aggregate functions are the different type of math functions that the summary variable allows. So this is, so as I told you, right, my requirement was that I should be able to find out what are the products that do not belong to my companies. For example, my company does not sell hardware products. Okay. So then all the products that are there in the code, which are of family hardware, is something that has come from external. So I need to keep account of that so that the sales rep always knows that whenever the sale is happening, what are the products that are being sold from an uh, external vendor, I would say. You see there is count, there is sum, there is average. So whatever field you select right over here. So here I've selected quantity, and whatever field I have selected, for example, if I select some other field based on the requirement, then I can do all these math functions on that. I can do an average, I can do a min, I can do a max. And max is like whatever out of those products, what is the maximum number? Out of those products, what is the minimum number? What is the average of all the numbers? So all these math functions is what the summary variable allows. This is my summary variable name, and this is my target object. So basically what happens is these things are calculated after I select a product. So from the product selection page, after I select it, it becomes a quote line. That product in the back end, it is actually it is creating a quote line object. That is why the target object becomes a quote line. You are doing a sum of the quantity on it, okay, and the scope is quote. Okay.
What do you mean by scope, Sajid?
When you say scope, it is actually the entire, you're doing this on the entire quote, right?
Hmm?
So for example, you have different options, like you can do it on assets as well, but then right now you're doing it in the quote process. Like
Okay.
when you go to edit lines, and then you're doing a quote, right? So it's actually happening at the quote level, the quote object level. That's why we select the scope as quote.
Okay.
Okay, and then the products that whatever you select has become a quote line in the background. That's why you're selecting the target object as quote line.
Hmm.
Now my condition is that my product family equals hardware. So what my requirement says is that my company does not sell hardware products. Okay. So in that case, I want to keep track of the number of hardware products that are being sold in each sale that the sales rep is doing. That is why my summary variable, what it is going to do is on the code at the code line level, it is going to sum the quantity of all the products that belongs to product family hardware. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys sure?
Yeah,
Can
we could
you,
take an example when you see it in action, it'll probably
right?
make more sense.
Okay. What about Durvesh? I don't hear Durvesh.
Yeah. Go on,
Okay.
Sajid. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So I save this. Now what I need to do is I need to create a price rule for this. Uh, I'm going to show you the price that we have. That's my price rule. So now what happens is, hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now
Yeah.
what my price rule is going to do is, price rule helps you execute these calculations. So I have created a summary rule that should do various actions. It is going to do various math functions. But what my price rule is going to do is, it is going to trigger it. That's the use of a price rule. So whatever math calculations or whatever I've set it at the summary variable level, my price rule will call it, and it will make it run, and then in turn I will get the result, whatever is expected.
And Sajid, here also we have to do according to our scenarios, like conditions we have to set according to the scenarios, right?
Exactly.
And what for the evaluation scope? It is only calculator, or we can change to any other options?
No, there are other options as well. So
Okay,
basically,
configure.
calculator is when
Hmm.
uh, you have to calculate things, like when the math happens. For example, in this scenario, we have the summary variable. Yeah, sorry, I went on mute by mistake. Yeah. So in this scenario, you have the summary variable.
Hello,
Hello.
Sajid, I think you gone on mute. Hello.
Devesh, can you hear me?
Yeah, Preet, I can hear you.
I can hear you too.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Yeah,
Was I not audible? I was saying
yeah.
something.
You weren't,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think it went mute.
Okay. And you guys see my screen too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I have changed my evaluation scope to configurator. So basically what configurator does is,
I
this
think
would
your screen
accept,
is freezed, huh?
is it? One second. Let me reshare.
Hello,
Hello.
mm. Sajid.
Yeah, I'm just, can you guys see my screen now?
Screen
Yeah.
is,
We can see you. We
yeah,
can see
screen
you,
is there.
but it's just getting freezed, I think. No. Yeah, it's working. It's working right now.
I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah.
There's this box that comes on top. I think that's causing
I
trouble.
understand. I understand.
Troubles me here.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so I was
yeah,
explaining configurator and calculator, right?
configure. Yeah.
So yeah, so basically what my evaluation scope does is, it decides when my price rule has to fire. Okay, so when I selected calculator because it has to fire at the at the editor level. Like for example, I've already selected my product. I am sure what my product should be, and then when the scope was quote line, like in the backend, I have already freezed what products I'm going to choose. Now I just have to do the calculation. Means I have already done my configuration and I've moved to the next step where the calculation would happen.
Okay.
That's why my evaluation scope becomes calculated. But if it was in the phase where I wanted these things to be done when I'm doing the bundling, like when I'm selecting a bundle or doing a bundling configuration, that is when I would select a configurator. That is, I'm not done my configuration yet, so you need to fire when I'm doing my configuration.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody clear with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we have the calculator evaluation event.
Hmm.
So basically, this is as soon as you enter into the quote line phase. Like as soon as you, like even before you click on anything, just when you select the product and go to the next page, automatically it gets calculated. So that is on calculate on sorry, on initialization. That's like just when you have already turned it in the backend, it would calculate everything and it will show it on the screen.
Okay.
Okay. Then the second part is before calculate and after calculate. So this is actually you guys have noticed that there is a total price that you see of the products, which means like the quotes price, the total grand total, right? That is
Yeah.
nothing but based on various factors, various bundles, various things that you have set up. Based on that, a total quote amount is priced. So what my after calculate and before calculate does is it would recalculate before the quote price is done and after the quote price is done when I select these options. Okay, and on calculate is like when it is getting calculated at that time, I want this thing also to be recalculated. Okay,
Yeah.
that's it. Like and then you have the evaluation order as we had always.
Okay.
Right now, with my product price rule, I'm just setting up at the evaluation and the calculation which is done. Okay, now my next thing is
There seems to be some disturbance. I'm not sure who that
Yeah,
is
we
from.
shall. Yeah. Disturbance.
you guys are good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Okay.
good.
So now I'll show you the price conditions like we had in product rules. What was that? The structure is the
Error
same.
condition.
It was air conditioner.
Exactly. So product rule we had error conditions. Now we have price conditions. So what my
Okay.
price condition will do is now over here. Basically, what in this condition, what we usually do is when you want this to fire, I've set my formula that my quote line product family should be equal to hardware.
Okay.
We did the same thing for summary variable as well, but then those two are different. For summary variable, we wanted those things to pick up only the products that belong to product family. Over here, what I'm doing is this rule, the whole rule has to fire when this whole rule has to fire on products that belong to hardware, product
Okay.
family hardware.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very basic price condition that I've set up.
Hmm.
Okay, and then coming back, now I have the action. This is the main part. Like we had the product action that does the main thing, like whatever we wanted to do. The same thing we have the price action. So over here, what I'm doing is I have the target object as quote. What I would do is I have a field called as total quantity. So this is a custom field, and these things I have set it up like you remember I used to add it to the pick list.
Yeah.
You know, I used to go to this field from fields and relationship, and then I used to add it to the
Pick list.
API name. Yeah, the API name, and it would come up here. So the exact same thing is what I've done here. So what this does is on this field, I want whatever is being calculated by my summary variable. So source variable over here is nothing but my total quantity is nothing but my summary variable. So this is a lookup to the summary variable. I select this. So what it does is on my code, what I have a field called as total quantity. So there is one more step, prerequisite step, which I think I did not show. So I'll show that again. So basically, the total quantity should get a value from the summary variable called as total quantity. That's the only thing you're going to set it over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So now these are the only things that you have to set up. So the first thing was you create a summary variable on which you want to select what exactly needs to be calculated, what are the math actions that needs to be done, and then would be the second phase wherein you would select the price rule, wherein you would select at what point this price rule has to fire and what are the actions it should do. So basically what happens is my price rule is the main thing. It's the kind of a parent which calls the action it has to do. For example, a summary variable. So summary variable and all these things are smaller elements that we create, but then price rule is the main thing that would help us execute these elements that we create.
So Sajil, can you show us what you had made for the quote? What
Sorry.
the can you show us the result or conclusion for
Yeah.
this
I'm
plan?
coming to that. I'll definitely show you. So now I'm on a code. I go to edit lines. Click on add products. I'm going to select one support product, two hardware, select three hardware. Yeah, select it. So I have a field called as total quantity. This is my summary variable and it has given me a value auto populated as 3. Hello?
Sorry, why is it 3? I mean, is this because there's only 3 hardware ones and admin hour is not really hardware, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So because the first one is a support family, belongs to
Yeah,
family
fine.
support, and
Cool,
then these
great.
things are hardware.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, understood.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sajil, what are the numbers or what are the what we can say first and the second step or the third step means first is product, then product rule, then price rule, or what we where how we can means go by step
Was it right or
Step by
left?
step.
means which see as you taught us about summary variable and price rule, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the condition how we can go for that condition before the product rule or after the product rule
I see.
or
I think
before the
he's asking for the right order, right? Is that correct, the
yeah
way? Yeah.
okay
No, so there is no order as such. That's what, see, this is one thing, I want you guys to really understand, there is no order as such.
Okay.
It is up to the requirement.
Mm-hmm.
What is the right tool that you use to implement it? There
Yeah,
were
yeah.
two instances where I made it very clear that you have to use it. One was search filter. So whenever you want something on the product selection page, you directly go for a search filter. That was the only point where you can say that that's a straightforward thing. But when it comes to price rule and product rule, it's all up to uh, your call on how you do it. Because see, whenever there is something to do with products and uh, restricting all the four options that we have: validation, selection, alert, and filter. So all these four options that we have, whenever you get a requirement, you have to understand if it is product centric, if it is related to a product, like I want this product, I want to show that product, I want a message on this product. So these things come up in the product rules. Whenever they say about calculation, that give me the sum of product that belongs to this, give me the sum of all the price of a particular product, give me the sum of quantity of particular product, give me the average of these things. So these things come up in the price. Like whenever there is a specifically a calculation involved, that's when you come up with a price. Okay, but then there is no particular order as such. It all depends on the requirement and what is the right tool that you have to use.
Okay.
Any questions on this?
No, it seems fairly straightforward. I think because we know a bit about product rule, this has made it simpler to understand this price rule as well, I guess.
Right, exactly. Okay, so this is how it goes. So there was one step that I actually wanted to show you. So uh, we got the summary variable, we got the price rule, but one thing that we did not, uh, I did not show you guys is how I got this field over here. This is not something that comes. This is a custom thing. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 was there earlier, but this is something that I added.
Right. Okay, fine.
Right. So you guys need to see that how I have added that. What I did is I went to the object. So I'll cancel this. And I'll go to the object. So first thing I did is I created a normal number field, because that's an input field, right? If you see, there's a text box. So I created a field which was called as total quantity. This was my field. So this is a normal basic field, number of type number, and this was the API name. Now what I did is I took this field, I went to the field sets on quote. So I'm doing all of this on the quote object. So I created a field on quote. I went to the field set, and there is a field set called as line editor. Over here I just added it. So what I can do is, if I delete this one, so this is whenever you guys go in, what you will see. And then what you have to do is search for total quantity, my field that I had created, and I just have to save it. And then it will automatically come over. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing that I want you guys to try out is, I mean, since this is almost the same thing, I want you guys to create a separate field and I leave it up to you guys to select what you want to do on that. Like I chose quantity. I wanted to show the quantity of hardware, but I'm giving a choice to you guys to decide what you guys want to show. Okay, and just give me a field over there. You can select quantity, but maybe with a different condition, or you can select some other field. You know that's up to you. But then just try this out. I want you guys to practically go in, select, create a field, add it into the field set, go create a summary variable, go create a price action, a price rule, a price condition, a price action, and just see it yourself that what are the different steps, and then so that you guys are familiar with what are the points and clicks that you have to do.
Sajil,
Okay.
can you repeat us? Actually, I was mute. Sorry, I was disconnected
Okay. From where do you want me to repeat?
from the object manager. Sorry,
Okay, sure, sure. Sure, no problem.
just fast time.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, the fields and relationships. So basically, what I did is on the code page, right? I showed you the total quantity. If you saw that, it was 3. So that field is a custom field. That is not something that comes in the CPU package. What I did is I went to the quote object.
Hmm.
I created a field which is called as total quantity.
Okay, okay. I understand. Okay,
Yeah, and then I picked that field and I went to the field set. On the left side, there's an option called as field set.
okay. Yeah,
Out of that, there is this option called as line editor. That is the quote line editor.
yeah.
Yeah, so I went to this line editor, and this actually gives you the option to um, arrange the things that is available.
Okay, so we can remove that default thing from there and we can add new things, or
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
you
do
can
anything.
remove any of these things. You can just have one field. You can have 10 more fields.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all your requirement based things.
Yeah.
And then once you
Okay.
add this, so you finish this one, right? And then you go to the summary variable, and then you create a summary variable. Then you go to your price rule. You create your price rule, your price condition, your price action. You come back to the code, and that's it. You should be after selecting the right products, you should be able to see a value on this field.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
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 Right.
And
So
that
one,
total quantity is I think text na field,
no, no, it's a number field.
Number.
number field. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So this is what we have for price rule and summary variable. And then there is one more topic called as discount schedules, but I don't want to take that up right now because it would be too much overloading. But then that is one thing that is related to pricing that we have to, so that we can take it up tomorrow. And that's our last topic that we need to cover.
So price in pricing there will be block price, list price. You will cover that na, and there's discount also.
Correct, correct,
Okay.
correct. So discount schedules is actually a larger topic.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean I wouldn't say larger topic, but it's actually something that you can take it up tomorrow. You don't have to overload yourself.
Yeah.
But
No problem.
yeah, but then so that's the one topic I want to keep it separate so that tomorrow I can take up that topics. And what we will do is whatever assignments we have, right? We will complete that tomorrow so that all your projects are ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever doubts, so you guys can go through all the recordings, whatever doubts you have, you can bring that up tomorrow, as well as uh, the assignments, right? Wherever we are missing, we'll solve them tomorrow so that our project gets ready by tomorrow.
Okay. So we're gonna solve tomorrow. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and so I think there's one more thing that we can cover today, that is the block prices. That's a very interesting thing where Salesforce CPQ has made life easier for all of us by introducing block prices. So I can show you to you guys.
Okay.
basically what block pricing does is, well, you guys know this, when you go to a product, you can see that there are two kinds of pricing. One is a list pricing type called as list, and then there is another option called as block. If I go to this product, scroll down, over here,
Mm-hmm.
there's a few called as pricing method. If I edit this, there's another option called as block.
Okay.
And
But
then
for
there's a
that,
block pricing. Sorry?
yeah, tell.
No, go
For
ahead.
that, so we have to set that block pricing, right? For to
Correct. So usually what happens is, I'll give you a real life example. So basically what happens is there are some products that changes based on some parameter. The price changes based on some parameter. For example, if you guys have ever ordered something from a store, right? So what happens is it fluctuates. For example, if I order two of that product, it would be for example $10, $10 per product. Okay, but then if I order it, for example, if I order 10 pieces, then it becomes like so now it is $20, but then if I order 10, instead of 200, it becomes like $180. I get a lesser price because I'm ordering more quantity.
okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
wholesale price. Yeah.
exactly. You guys have come across this, right? I
Yeah.
order more, and my price goes less.
Yeah,
Basically, what block prices does is based on a particular range, it would adjust the pricing.
Okay,
So
so you mean to say 1 to 5 it will be 3, and from 5 to 10 it can become 8 or 4 or 3. Dep
based on
mm,
the quantity. So
yeah,
now
based on
example, so now example, if the security console. So I want to make sure that if I select 0 to 5, then it is $100. If I select the quantity as between 5 to 10, then it becomes $80. Right, so that is something that I can set it up. So let's use the same product now. I come to that product. So now we are just selecting one product, but then in the real life scenario, there would be a whole bunch of products that needs to be of this particular pricing. So at that time, when you load these products, you have to make sure that this pricing method field has a value as block, and then this field is selected, the block pricing field, which is selected to quantity.
okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, but Sachil, if the number of quantity increases, right? If we select 100 products and the base price of that product is $100, but for 100 products it is $50. So it will actually gets means we will get profit, or
No,
it
no.
will depend upon the discounts.
it's a volume sale, so
Okay,
it's again a early
but
profit.
Vishal, in front means in quote line we can give any additional discount, so he will also ask for a discount.
No,
If
he won't ask anything. It's all up to the sales rep, right? How we negotiate with the customer. The customer
okay,
can see the screen. When they see the screen, when the sales rep hits, and then it's up to
Getting
the
a lot of
sales rep.
disturbance again. Vishal, if you can please mute.
Yeah. So what I was saying is the screen, right? The basic sales CPQ screen. The customer won't be doing all these things. It would be the sales rep sitting there, and it's his job to convince or to get the best deal from the customer.
Okay.
You guys
One
understand that, right?
one question. When you are setting up the pricing for blocks like 1 to 5 and 5 to 10,
Uh-huh.
so 5 is a common into different groups, right?
Correct.
Or we are setting up one at a time and one is being used and other is not.
No, I didn't get that question. Sorry.
So you are saying that if quantity is 1 to 5, this is the price. If quantity is 5 to 10, this is the price. If somebody is asking for 5, then system will be confused to take which price because
No,
two
no,
different.
no. So it's actually, uh, I mean, like 0 to 5, and then it would be like 6 to 10.
Sure, got you.
Right. For example, like so when we go to the block prices, right, we'll set up the block prices. At that time I'll explain this topic, like what is the how the range comes in. So it takes the lower limit of the first one, and then it calculates it.
Okay.
Sorry, just a quick question. I'm just, obviously thinking of other. Apologies, sorry, someone at the door. I'm thinking of other scenarios. So let's assume, I'll use India as you buy, let's say, a car from Delhi. It's a different price than, let's say, in I don't know, Mumbai or Calcutta. Is
Uh-huh.
that, can we use similar sort of price rule for that sort of thing as well? Can we? Or
No, 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 no. This is all range based. That means between you differentiate the price based on a block. When you say block, it has to be from to two. Like, you get my point? Like for
yeah,
example,
yeah.
quantity, right?
So it's
It
quantity
varies in
based,
the
yeah.
price.
Right, right. Okay, fine. Understood.
So now what I've done is I've selected the quantity. I've made the pricing method as this, and I save this. Now I need to set up my block price. So what I do is I will go to this product. I go to related. Block prices. Click on new. My block price. So my first name, let's say quantity range 1. Lower bound is 0. Upper bound is 5. Price would be $120. I assign it to price book. And I save. Now I go to the next one. Now one more. My lower bound is 5. My upper bound becomes 10. And this becomes $100. Nice. Okay. Clear till now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what are the steps that we did?
So you put a range in there, right? So obviously the maximum quantity is 10 basically. That's when the price is going to apply, and the minimum is 5, I guess. So anything below 5, there'll be a different price for it, and anything above 10 will be a different price.
Correct. So basically, yeah. So what I was asking is, what are the different steps that we did? So what I did is I went to a product. I changed the pricing method to block. I changed the pricing field to quantity, and then from that product itself, I went to the related list. I selected block prices, and in that block prices, I created two set of block prices, two set of ranges. The first one is 0 to 5, and the second one is 5 to 10.
Yeah. Okay.
I have heard one incident from that CPQ team that they were discussing something like they were initiating, means putting their lower bound and upper bound. So
Mm-hmm.
if there is 1 to 10, means the scenario is that we have to put from 1 to 10. So they have put 1 to 5, and then for the upper bound it is 5 to 11. Why have they have done this?
Uh, can you repeat the scenario once again?
Means I think they have uh, they have set up uh, what we can say.
I think it's similar to what Vishal was just asking, 1 to 5, and then the range that they've set up,
Yeah,
Dinesh,
the
correct?
range.
So 1 to 5,
Range.
instead of 6 to 10, they've said 5 to 10. Is that correct?
No. The range was one from 1 to 10, right? So
Right.
they have for one quantity range they have selected 1 to 5, and for the second quantity range they have selected 5 to 11.
5 to 11. Oh,
Yeah,
That doesn't make sense at all to me
yeah. So I was
because
asking.
my thought process is 1 to 5 and 6 to 10.
No. It can't be, because there should be one. The lower bound and the upper bound should be similar for quantity 1 and 2 range. But they have
That's right.
selected 1 to 5 and 5 to 11.
Oh, then it should
And
be 6 to 11, I think. Then it will be
no.
no.
No, they
No, so
have
that would
actually
include
selected.
11 as well. I don't know why they have done that,
Yeah,
but ideally it should have been 1 to 10.
1 to 10.
Right.
Okay. Directly 1 to 10.
That's what they wanted, right?
Yeah. But why they have selected, I don't know.
Right. So if for a range of 1 to 10, if it's one single price, you don't have to create two separate ones. You can just create one range.
Okay. So Sajil, the range has any maximum, means only 1 to 10. If there are means 50 range, 1 to 50.
Mhm.
So we can create 5 range, right?
Yeah, you can create as many records as you want, and then this range also you can keep any number.
Okay.
99999. That's also fine. You can have 10 block prices. That's also fine.
Okay.
so Sajid, just quickly. So if let's say there's a product which has one price, regardless of the quantity, you will still get that same price. We don't need to create a range, do we, for that product?
So at that case, you would keep the pricing method as list. If it is irrespective of the range, then the price list is like a constant price. No matter what parameter changes, it would always be uh,
Same, right? Okay,
yeah, it would always be the same. But then when it has to fluctuate, that is when you would select a block price.
right. Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. So now ideally what should happen is, now if I go to security console and if I have a quantity of 3, then it should be $120. If it is quantity of something between 5 to 10, then it should be uh, how much? $100. So now tell me one thing, what if the quantity is 5?
If the quantity is 5, it should still be $100.
Okay. Any other guesses?
Anything below 5 would be a different price, my guess is. But
Okay.
I think for 5 it will be $100. Yeah.
So you
Can
guys,
you repeat the question, Sajal?
sorry?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is I said that for a range of 0 to 5, it should be 120, right? So if I select 3, then it becomes $120. If I select 7, it would become $100.
oh, okay.
Right? So then if I select 5, then what would be the price?
Since your lower bound on this range is 5, I would say. But would that not cause a conflict? Because one block price is saying, or one range is saying 120 for 5, and the other one saying 100. So which one wins?
That's what my first question was. Like, two range should not be have upper bound as the lower bound of the other.
No, so I'm saying this number 5 is there in both the ranges, right? So which
Yeah,
one
yeah.
will it go for? That's my
So
question.
my guess would be for the customer, from the customer's point of view, they'll get the lower price. But I could be wrong. It's down to the person who's selling or the sales rep, I guess.
No, so that's a standard set. So let's see it ourselves what comes in. So you guys are all guessing it as 100. Any other answers?
Yeah.
Yeah, if system allows you to set it up, then it will be 100.
Okay, let's. Now it is quantity 1, so it became 120. Now I am going to make it 7. And I'm going to make it calculate. So it became 100.
Sorry, was your question not 5? The quantity 5?
Right, right. I'm showing you the. I
Sure.
showed the
Okay.
first
Fine.
scenario
Fine.
7,
Fine. Fine.
and then we'll come to the third scenario. Now is 5. Let's see. So it's 100. So basically, what happens is your lower bound is where it gets started from.
Right. Okay.
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 And Sajal,
When I
hit
say,
calculate. Yeah.
sorry,
No. Just yeah, tell.
if I say 1 to 5, then it starts from. So when it is 1, it for that range it starts from 1 itself. When I say 5 to 10, for that range it would start from 5 itself.
Okay.
So in a
And
way,
Sajal,
gone the rest.
yeah, and Sajal, you have taken 5 quantity and the list unit price is 100. Okay.
Correct.
So net total should be 500, but it did not changed.
No, so there is a different column that shows over there.
Different column.
Yeah, yeah. So this is your list unit, which is 100, and net
Hmm?
unit price, and then the net total is not the multiplication of 5 into 100.
Then what column it is called as?
That is something that you have to select from the line editor. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, there's another field on that, which would give you
Hmm.
the sum of based on the quantity.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Okay,
coming
so
back to your example quickly, Sajil. So having the 5 in the range of 1 to 5 is obsolete, right? If you've got two ranges where one is 1 to 5 and one is 5 to 10, the 5 is always gonna work out at $100. So why even have it in the first place in the 120 bracket is what my...
Okay. So basically, what it does is 1 to 5 means 1, 2, 3, and 4. So whatever values that is starting from 1 and which is below 5, not less than equal to 5, but below 5. So
Right.
basically, right. So the question, I don't know if it was Vishal or Durvesh, wherein he told that one of his team member added as 1 to 10, right? They wanted 1 to 10, but they added 1 to 11.
And you're right. Okay, so I get it, because if they were to select 10, then maybe, because it'll be below 10, right? Would be $100. So what if it is 10? Then it might not be $100. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
So that's why they
Okay,
added one. Oh, okay,
they
fine. To
added
make sure that
111.
even 10 will come under $100 bracket.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Fine.
So if we set up two range, 1 to 5 and 5 to 10, and if we put the quantity 11,
Okay.
how it would calculate?
Exactly. So that's when it would become blank. If it goes out of the range, it won't show any price, and that would be a system error. Like there is no price associated, and then it would all show it as blank. So that's why you should always have a
Maximum
third,
quantity?
sorry,
Max quantity setup?
not max quantity exactly, but then something like uh, 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10, and then blank. That means whatever above 10 will get that value.
So is it not best practice to have the 6 to 11, like, or the 5 to 11, like in Durvesh's case? If you,
Yeah, as per the requirement, yes, it is.
right, okay, okay.
Yeah. But then what Vishal is asking is, now I have set up two ranges. What if it if it goes beyond that range? Then how the system will behave?
No, no, you understand that. Yeah, okay, thanks.
So at that time, so it's always whenever you get the requirement, this is one thing that you have to remember is what happens is they would just give you the ranges 0 to 5, 5 to 10. What after that, they might not tell you, but you have to ask them that, okay, what if it crosses? So they will always give you a dummy price, that is a wide range, like out of the ranges. If something comes up, then there would be like $50 or something. So anything that is sold above 10 quantity would all be sold at 50, whether it be 10 or whether it be 100. So for that, to set that up, what you would do is you just need to create one more block price. That would be 10. There is no upper bound, and this will become, for example, 50. And I save. Did I just edit that one, or change 3? Now if I go back and I put a value as 12, so I can see it as $50 because that's my upper range. So whatever crosses my 10 quantity mark all gets one price, whether I put 12 or if I put quantity as 120.
Okay, I think the screen has been freezed. Ah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so
So
I
after
put,
yeah, so after the $10 it will be 50
correct,
to all.
my
Yeah.
upper range. So whether it be 12 or whether it be 20, my
Mm-hmm.
value after 10, that is my third range, is my lower bound is 10 and there is no upper bound. So there's no limit. Whatever value the quantity goes to, it would always be $50.
And Sachil, can you explain about this list unit price and net unit price? Both are same. I can see that both are same. So why we are added this column?
No, so we have not added this. This is something that came up with the package itself. But then usually, what we do is we create custom fields based on the calculation.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed you the quote editor, right?
Yeah.
So basically, my quote editor had only these fields. Then the
Okay.
same set of option is available on the quote line itself. When
Mm-hmm.
I go to the object called as quote line, there is an object called as quote line. Over there, there is a
Mm-hmm.
field set which is called as line editor. Over there, I get to choose these fields. That's where all these fields come from. And then over there, based on what calculation I need, I would select this.
And for, as you said, that if you want to show that quantity into your list unit price, that that also can be edited through quote line.
Correct. So basically, this is going to work based on whatever fields you have. So this is actually the managed package. This is actually set up to take in only whatever happens in the discount level.
Mm-hmm.
So now it changed to 47.50. But then if you wanted this one, right? 15 to 20, and then it should come up here. So
No. Yeah, yeah.
correct. For
Mm-hmm.
that, you need to customize it. So you need to create a custom field and put in the formula, and then you need to put it on the edit lines.
Okay, so actually, what if I want that quantity should be 20, then if we give additional discount, it's okay. Then when it is 20 into 50, that is 100, it should be shown in that net unit price. And when we are giving any discount for example, 5%, then the net
Correct.
unit price should be remain 100 only, but the net total should change, and it will give the
Correct.
total.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct. So these things you have to configure yourself because
okay,
they have
okay.
just given you a layout, but based on whatever calculation you need to do, that you have to set it up yourself.
Okay, okay.
It's completely open that you go create a new field, you put a formula, and you create a formula field, and then you bring it on to the line editor of the quote line.
Okay.
Okay. So any questions on this block prices? It's a very small topic, but it's very helpful when the requirement comes.
Seems straightforward actually. It seems quite interesting as well, honestly. Yeah.
I'm good right now.
Okay, so basically, the first thing that we saw was summary variables, and then the second thing that we covered was the block prices. It's all related to pricing. These things are pretty straightforward when things come in for prices, right? It's all something that you can just configure directly. Even product rule is the same thing. The only thing is that you just need to. Uh, I mean, it's a wider scope of requirement. That's why you just need to have a little more practice. Other than that, when it comes to bundles, when it comes to product setup, when it comes to pricing and all, it's all pretty straightforward. Yeah. Okay, so tomorrow what we're going to do is we start off with discount schedules. After that, so I gave you an assignment for today as well, right? So I want so I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we have a quantity that got pulled away, 24. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, so the same my requirement was I want a field like this, and the choice is yours. You can have a total quantity, but then maybe keep the condition little different. You can have some other conditions, or you can have some other field, and that's completely your call. So with all these things, I mean discount schedules. I don't think I'll need more than half an hour to explain that, and then rest of the time, we will discuss things to make sure that your project is ready.
Sure. You can't give us a couple of tips on what we were going wrong on, can you? I mean, I've got a couple of hours to work on this evening. I know it's a bit late in India, but if you can, if it's a
Uh,
little, it'll take a couple of minutes, then you can. Can you? Or
the product rule.
on the, where I'm going wrong, that's where it's really bugging me actually. So I wanted to work on it and see if I could figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, tomorrow when I solve those things, I just wanted to cover few more things around it, right? So that's why I wanted to keep that for tomorrow. Like
Around the
I,
product rule, you mean?
sorry.
Around the product rule, is that what you mean? Or
Yeah. Around the product rule, like when I explain those things, I just wanted to highlight few things related to that as well. So I
right?
would need some time for that. So I think we can keep that for tomorrow. You can work on this requirement, and then
Sure.
tomorrow, anyways, we all will get the solution for those things.
Fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Sajil, it's a request that if you get some extra lectures, please take it. If
Yeah, sure. So if you, I mean, if you guys have any questions,
yeah,
we can do those topics. Yeah.
yeah, okay,
Okay, but then keep practicing, guys.
yeah,
Lecture. So you know what is the tricky part that everybody goes through is whenever the sessions are going on, everybody is happy and they understand things. Maybe when they try it out, they get those things as well. But then after a few weeks, right, you might not be. Now what is happening is every week, at least 3 or 4 times, you guys are seeing these things. You're seeing the UI, you are navigating through these things because you have assignments and everything. But once these sessions are over, you don't know. Like maybe till you get a project or some other things, you would be caught up with other things. So you might not be using this. And then suddenly, when you get a project, it becomes difficult to understand these things. So try to spend time. You just have to spend 1 hour a day. Try to just navigate through things. You can actually go through whatever you have done yourself. You don't have to do something new if you don't have time, but at least just quickly go through and see the logic. What I have done, why did I do that? So that your brain is always ready with all these. And then like in a span of 3 weeks, when you're continuously working on these things, you automatically start guessing these things. Like as soon as the requirement is coming in, you automatically start guessing what needs to be done. Like if I get a requirement for price, uh, now I think you would be very clear if I have to use a summary variable, if I have to use a block price. But then after some point, you might just forget what exactly my summary variable should do, what exactly or when exactly I should use a block price. So until and unless you don't try it out for a couple of scenarios, you won't get it. Why don't you guys create a block price as well tomorrow?
Yeah, can do. Can
yeah,
do.
definitely.
I mean, what we've done is we've shared our numbers, right? So I'm going to create like a WhatsApp group between the three of us, and hopefully we'll be able to connect and maybe share a few things, and and going forward, maybe work on a few things together to keep everything fresh.
Yeah, definitely. Even I think Vishal is a little behind with his assignment, so maybe you guys can help him out for the
Yeah,
things that is left, and then tomorrow, then we can have time to discuss other things.
sure.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, that will be great. I know that Durvesh is already night time, but yeah, I'll catch up with you guys to speed myself. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Sure.
Yeah,
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 okay.
Vishal, just contact me on LinkedIn if possible.
Sure.
The rest, I'm
Uh,
going to make a WhatsApp group of all three of us as well. Yeah,
Okay, you have the number, Preet?
I have the number. Yes, mate.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
yeah, that would be great. So you also got my number, Preet.
I have, mate. Yeah, so I'll create a group shortly. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks, Ajal.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And one another thing is, uh, tomorrow, is it okay if we have the session at 7?
Okay, no problem.
7 p.m. India time,
7,
which will be, yeah, that's fine.
That's fine, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Cool, guys. Yeah, we'll catch
7
up
India
tomorrow.
IST.
yeah.
7 hours.
So I don't know what's my time because I have to drop my kids at 7:45 CST time.
Okay. So what time that would be for you?
Yeah, 8 is fine. 8 CST is fine.
CST for us, what time would be? For IST, as what is that?
Right now, it is 12:30
PM.
CST.
Uh-huh.
PM,
And what?
right?
Yeah, means afternoon. Yeah. So what's right now in India? It is 12.
Right, it's 12 exactly.
So when I was saying 8, it means 7:30.
7:30. Or what if a bit earlier, like for example, 6 to 7:30 your time. Will that work?
I will wake up tomorrow. Yeah, I'll wake up early.
Yeah, one
Super
day.
really fast, mate.
Sorry.
Okay, Sajal.
So 6 to 7:30 is fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll wake up tomorrow early. No
Yeah,
problem. Means
I'll
I
do that.
usually wake up 6. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Fine, fine. Okay, guys. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.